I'm waiting in line. I got the papers in my hand and I'm nervous. I'm not at the airport waiting in line to go to a degenerate holiday, even though that sounds pretty good right now. I'm waiting in line at my high school reception. I'm about to see my careers advisor, and she tells me all the details about me going to uni. And she tells me about the student loan that I have to repay. She tells me about how if I don't make a certain amount, if I don't make that certain amount, then eventually it's clear. As in, if I don't make a certain amount, I don't have to pay it off. That's good, right? Like, I remember being so excited when she told me that if I didn't earn beyond 28K in 1 year, if I didn't earn beyond 28K in a year, I wouldn't have to pay that back. And I was so excited. I was kind of happy that if I was a good enough bum, if I didn't make 28K a year, then I was satisfied that it would just vanish. And a few years since that's happened, I realized how stupid that is, because I'm purposely setting myself up for a low level of quality of life just so I don't meet the threshold to pay off the tuition. Like, that, I think that is a good representation of how low of self-image I had at a time when I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't want to bet on myself, and I didn't want to invest in my future, it seems, by having that very low expectation that if I don't make enough, then I'm good. Because when I have that low expectation of myself about aiming low so I wouldn't have to pay it off, it's not only the tuition. Not only does my low confidence and my self-image, not only does that show in how I see the tuition, but if I have that low confidence in something like that, then that's going to affect every other aspects of my life. Whether that's having low respect for myself. So if I have low respect for myself, any girlfriend that I get, they're not going to respect me, are they? If I don't respect myself to begin with, the people that I have relationships with, they're not going to respect me. And I'm just so grateful. I'm very grateful that I caught myself. Because if I hadn't caught myself, if I didn't realize, hey bro, that belief you have about aiming low so you don't have to pay off the tuition, I caught myself maybe that doesn't serve you to think like that, to think low of yourself. I'm really glad I caught that from... It took a while for me to have that level of confidence, to have that realization that, hold on, I'm purposely not doing my best. I'm purposely limiting myself just so I don't have to pay. It's quite silly looking back at it, because it wasn't even that long ago. So now it's a few years later. I'm in the middle of my university degree. And again, I'm just so grateful to have catch myself with that poor belief, that poor mindset, because to recap, I'm in the middle of my university degree right now. So I finished my year 1 and my year 2. These first 2 years was basically an introduction to filmmaking. Filmmaking is my course. I've just finished my year 3, and year 3 for me was a placement year. A placement year is kind of like it's like an extra year. So it doesn't really count to your degree. But the extra year that I've had was a business work experience. And instead of working for someone else, or instead of studying abroad for the year, I decided to take that year to focus on my own business. Like my university has a program that lets me do that. That lets me focus on my own business with the help of the university department. And I had to apply to be on this program, and they accepted 8 people. They accepted 8 people, including me. And I remember at the beginning of that year, we had an introduction week where it was a series of workshops with me and the other students that were chosen to be on this program. And I remember in those workshops, between the small group, between, the business students and the people who was running it, a conversation came up about when to pay back uni tuition. And we started talking about it, and then it came up in the conversation that, you pay it back after 7 years after leaving uni or something like. So we started talking about how you start paying back your student tuition 7 years from after your degree, or however long it is. And yeah, everyone was, giving in their opinion about paying back student tuition. And one of the other students that was chosen for this program, one of the other students who was in my same position, when we were talking about when to pay back student tuition, there was a girl next to me, and she said under her breath, the girl next to me said under her breath, "Oh, but if you don't make 28K, you don't have to pay it back." She said the same limiting belief that I had not too long ago. She said it under her breath about how, if you don't pay 28K, then you don't have to pay it back. No one else heard her, because, it was like a group conversation. She said it so quietly, and she said it very, in like a shy way. So no one else heard her apart from me, because I'm next to her. And she says it under her breath. And when she said that, I literally, I had a flashback of me when I was in my high school reception talking to my careers advisor, and literally me having that same thought about how, if I don't make more than 28K, then I'm good. It's sorted. It gets cleared off. And yes, I'm just so grateful that I did catch myself with that poor limiting belief, because it affects everything you do. If I'm lowering my standards and how I see myself and my self-esteem, I'm lowering it because I don't want to exceed the 28K. If I'm lowering it, then how does my confidence show when I talk to girls? If I have that low self-image about my tuition fee and my confidence to pay it back, that's going to trickle into how deeply you love your partner. That low expectations of your tuition, that's going to affect how you believe in yourself when you go after your goal. You're purposely settling for less because of a payoff to get your tuition written off and paid for, and now you're good. And I've realized that is not a good deal. You know, when I'm settling for less so I don't have to pay off my tuition, that is not a good deal. Having low self-esteem, I would much rather pay off the 28K. I would much rather pay off the student tuition than have low self-esteem. Like, your confidence, how you show up into the world, how you show up to your partner, to your family. If that is low, mate, that is not worth it. I'd rather pay 28K to have a not crap confidence. I'd rather have the confidence and pay off the 28K and the student tuition. See how that works? Because in The Way of the Superior Man, it's a book about finding your purpose. In that book, it makes a comparison how you penetrate the world is how you penetrate your girl. Or the other way around, like how you penetrate your girl is how you penetrate the world. Or whatever the saying is. And that is saying how you love your girl is also how you show up into the world when you're chasing your goals, when not even your big goals, just how you are in your everyday life. If you even enjoy your days, your confidence affects if you enjoy your days. And it is nowhere near worth sacrificing for. Not 28K. It's not worth it to have low expectations of yourself. I've mentioned that it wasn't just one big moment and I was like, oh wow, yes, I've sorted it. My expectation is no longer low. Oh yep, I have good confidence about myself now. It wasn't just like one moment and it just like, it's a continuous process that I'm honing, the process of honing my confidence. But obviously, at the start of uni, I came in and started my university degree with that low self-image that, yeah, guys, I'm going to not earn more than 28K, so my tuition is cleared off and paid off by the government. Thank you, government. It wasn't just one big moment that made me realize like, oh my gosh, bro, your expectations are low. It was more so a slow It was a slow transformation with every meditation I did, with every line of a book that I read. For every push-up that I do, each of those steps made me realize that, oh, if my uni tuition is 50k, £50,000 for the 4 years of uni, if that's the cost of my tuition, then hold on, it's not actually that expensive, is it? Like, to pay off your 50k uni tuition, if you think about it, it's not that much. I know I'm in America, it's probably closer to like 200k, 300k, but whatever the price is, it's not that much. It's not that much. And I'm glad that I'm able to think like that, that I believe that I'm able to pay off the 50k of student tuition without having to rely on the government payoff or anything like that. And what's funny is that I'm still on a minimum wage job. I'm making burritos at the Mexican food place at the mall. I'm on minimum wage earning, and I still believe well, basically I could be lying to you because, you know, this is a YouTube video. But to be honest, like, I lose more if I am lying. Like, I lose more if I'm lying than you are to believe my lie, if that makes sense. But I believe, even though I'm on a minimum wage job, I believe that paying my 50k tuition, that's not that much. And it doesn't have to take that long. It doesn't have to take 30 years. And when I believe in that, when I believe that 50k tuition and paying it back is actually attainable, rather than, oh, if I aim low enough, then I don't have to pay it back, and hooray, I'm government, yay, I love the government. Just the change of expectations of me within the few years of having such a low expectation to me now, realizing that 50k tuition and paying it back is not that much. When I have that level of confidence, the game of life becomes more fun. It becomes fun because it's just better when you have, life is just better when you don't have low beliefs and low expectations, and therefore you're settling less of yourself. And by settling for less of yourself, that also means your partner's not really gonna your partner's not gonna respect you if you don't respect yourself. There's that bit of it. But because I think 50k tuition is not that hard to pay back, because I believe that 50k tuition is not that hard to pay back, when I read my business books, it's much more fulfilling. Because I believe that that goal of paying my 50k tuition back is not that crazy. Because I believe in that. When I read a book that tells me about a business, when I read a book that tells me about my business, when I read a book that tells me about a business tactic that I'm needing to learn for this stage of my business, then just me reading that one line of the book is so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. I'm not trying to get you guys excited to read a book, but I just want to paint the picture, the different lives I have by not having crap expectations of myself. So what I say now about me thinking, what I say about me right now about reading one line of a book is so fulfilling. That is more fulfilling to me compared to what I was doing before when I had the crap low expectations. When I was playing video games, that one line of the book, much more better of like quality of living for me, just reading that book in comparison to playing hours and hours and hours of video games. And also this low expectations of me, because you have one expectation, because you have one low expectation about one thing, that's going to affect other areas of your life. So when I was at this stage of my life, I was watching porn, busting to Instagram models, you know, the usual. But I was doing those things when I had a loving girlfriend next to me. What kind of a... See how crazy the switch is when reading one page of a book is much more fulfilling than the cheap coming, the cheap bussing, the cheap fun of video games. What's funny is that even though on the surface, even though the choice to pay back my student tuition, this is the harder choice. Because not every day you're gonna want to read a book. Not every day you're gonna want to do some push-ups or meditate. So achieving the bigger things, the bigger dream, that's gonna be harder, right? Because, you know, busing, playing video games, that's quite easy. So imagine the harder thing is actually more fun. It may not seem like it at the moment when you're reading another page of a book, but because you know that that one line of a book, that's gonna get you to your purpose. That level of fulfillment, that enjoyment of life, that is worth paying the 50k tuition, the 200k tuition. That enjoyment of life and that confidence and believing in yourself, that is priceless. I would happily pay the 200k tuition for me to attain that. Thank you.